Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Joseph Wu. I'm a former ambassador to the United States from Taiwan. On March 18th, hundreds of students from Taiwan stormed the legislative yuan and they occupied the chamber of our parliament for 3 weeks now. And they have become one of the phenomena in Taiwan, and many people in Taiwan have been discussing about this new phenomena of sunflower movement. It seems to me that there are deeply embedded factors that we need to discuss in a more serious manner in order to understand why the students are doing what they are doing right now. The first factor is the divide in between two theories and philosophies about whether Taiwan should continue to open its trade relations with China or Taiwan should continue the globalization. And in this discussion, we need to understand that President Ma has been pushing for cross-strait integration at full speed. And of course, there are winners and there are losers. The winners, of course, are those business leaders. And the losers seems to be the younger generation in Taiwan. For the younger generation in Taiwan these days, their unemployment rate is much higher than the average. And the average wage for these young people are much lower than before. And for a responsible government in any country, when they face a situation like this, the government needs to find a way to balance the two philosophies or the two approaches. However, when we look at the current government, it's moving at a full speed in one direction without any consideration for the young people in Taiwan. The second factor we must consider is what the students have been proposing these days, a constitutional reform. In the last few years, President Ma has been pushing for some unpopular and highly controversial policies. In other normal democracies where there are proper constitutional mechanism to deal with the current deadlock, but they are not there in Taiwan's constitutional system. In Taiwan, the government cannot dissolve the parliament. And a vote of no confidence against the premier is virtually impossible. Worse still, there cannot be any successful referendum to deal with a controversial issue. And if we look at these kinds of situation, I think Taiwan needs an overhaul in our constitutional system. And when the Taiwanese students are demanding that we need to have a constitutional conference to deal with the constitutional issue, what the president was doing actually was to side with the business leaders and propose an economic conference. The third factor that we must face is the cross-strait relations. I think we all know that China has been threatening Taiwan militarily and trying to suffocate Taiwan diplomatically. And China's political ambition or economic ambition over Taiwan has been very apparent. The Chinese government never hides from its intention over Taiwan. They want to incorporate Taiwan economically or politically. Under such circumstances, any kind of political agreement with China or negotiation with China needs to be taken in a more prudent manner, needs to be taken in a more cautious manner. Any kind of agreement needs to go through the consultation process, needs to have impact assessment, and I think the government also needs to talk to various sectors to understand the reaction from the people. But if you look at the service trade agreement in the signing process, the government kept the whole country in the dark. There was no impact assessment whatsoever, and there was no consultation whatsoever. And after the agreement was signed, the government was saying that there can be discussion, there can be deliberation in the parliament, but not a single word can be changed to that agreement. But I think to most of the people in Taiwan, that doesn't seem to be acceptable. When we put all these three factors together, we need to understand the deeply embedded uncertainty and anxiety, not only among the young students in Taiwan, but also among the public in general. I think it's a nightmare among the Taiwanese public these days is that the government, when one day they wake up, might sign another agreement with China where the people cannot have a say at all or cannot change any word to those agreements. They point to the three key factors or three key problems Taiwan is facing. And I think the president or the KMT government needs to listen very carefully. Unfortunately, the way I see it is that the president or the KMT government doesn't seem to be listening at all. Thank you very much.